Imagine walking into a room and immediately commanding attention, not by shouting, not by pleading, but by saying absolutely nothing. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's the truth. Silence, used wisely, is louder than words. Most people are too afraid to ignore someone. They fear being forgotten, seen as weak, or losing their chance. But not you. You're not average. You're here because you're ready to dare, to use the power of ignoring to shift the balance of control in any situation. I've spent hours combing through articles, diving into videos, and distilling the most powerful psychological strategies for you. The 11 I'm about to share are the best. This isn't just theory. It's a way to completely change how people perceive and respond to you. I remember the first time I used this. I was in a heated discussion with someone who always dominated conversations. Instead of fighting back, I stayed silent. I watched as they unraveled, trying to fill the void. That day, I learned the art of ignoring wasn't about passivity. It was about power. If you're ready to take control of your life, let's dive in. Number 1, silence forces others to reflect on their actions. Silence is not just an absence of words. It's a deliberate choice that can force others to pause and think. When you respond with silence, you deny someone the reaction they were expecting, which compels them to self-assess. This is especially powerful because most people act impulsively and rarely take the time to evaluate their own behavior. Imagine a scenario where someone criticizes you publicly, perhaps making a rude comment in front of others. The natural reaction might be to defend yourself or retaliate with a comeback. However, choosing to stay silent disrupts the dynamic. Your silence creates discomfort, leaving the other person questioning their words. They may start wondering, did I say something wrong? Why didn't they respond? Over time, this can lead to regret or even an apology. For example, think about an argument where someone accuses you unfairly. Instead of engaging, you remain calm and say nothing. Your silence acts as a mirror, reflecting their behavior back at them. This technique is especially effective in personal relationships, where emotional outbursts are common. By staying silent, you encourage the other person to confront their own actions instead of focusing on yours. Number 2, ignoring shifts the power dynamic. Attention is a form of currency in human interactions. When you give someone your attention, you validate their importance in your life. Ignoring someone takes that validation away, shifting the balance of power in your favor. It subtly communicates that you don't need their approval, which can make them feel less in control. For example, consider a toxic relationship where one person constantly seeks to dominate through criticism or manipulation. If you engage with their behavior, you reinforce their power over you. But if you ignore their attempts to provoke you, they lose their influence. This can leave them scrambling for your attention as they feel a loss of control. Think about how this works in professional settings. Suppose a colleague regularly undermines your ideas during meetings. Instead of reacting defensively, you maintain your composure and focus on your work. Over time, they may feel frustrated by your lack of response, realizing they can no longer manipulate you. This shift in dynamics places you in a position of strength, showing that you are not easily swayed by negativity. Number 3, it protects your energy. One of the most valuable benefits of ignoring is the protection it offers to your mental and emotional energy. Engaging with every argument, criticism, or insult can drain you, leaving little energy for the things that truly matter. Ignoring isn't about being rude, it's about prioritizing your well-being. Let's take a social media example. Imagine someone leaves a negative comment on your post, criticizing your opinions or choices. You could spend time crafting a response or defending yourself, but what would that accomplish? Instead, you choose to ignore it. By doing so, you conserve your energy for more meaningful interactions and avoid the emotional toll of online arguments. This principle applies to personal relationships as well. If a friend or family member repeatedly brings up controversial topics to provoke you, responding every time can be exhausting. By ignoring these provocations, you silently set boundaries, signaling that your energy is reserved for positivity and growth. This doesn't just protect you, it also teaches others how to treat you. Number 4, ignoring makes you mysterious. Humans are naturally curious creatures. When you don't provide an expected reaction, people are left wondering about your thoughts and intentions. This curiosity can work to your advantage, making you appear more intriguing and desirable. Ignoring someone creates an air of mystery that draws attention. Consider a dating scenario. If someone texts you something provocative or flirty, they likely expect an immediate response. By not replying right away, or at all, you create a sense of intrigue. They may start overthinking. Did they not see my message? Are they not interested? This curiosity keeps you in their thoughts, even in your absence. Similarly, in group settings, the quietest person often garners the most attention. While others may dominate the conversation, the silent individual stands out because their thoughts remain unknown. This effect can be amplified by deliberate ignoring. For example, if someone tries to engage you in gossip or drama and you remain detached, you project an image of confidence and self-assurance. People become curious about your perspective, wondering why you don't engage in the trivialities that consume others. Number 5, silence speaks louder than words. In heated arguments or confrontations, silence can be your most powerful weapon. It communicates control, patience, and confidence, while also depriving the other person of the fuel they need to escalate the situation. By choosing silence, you shift the focus away from the argument and onto the other person's behavior. Let's say you're in a disagreement with a coworker who accuses you of not meeting expectations. Instead of defending yourself or arguing back, you calmly let them finish and remain silent. Your lack of reaction forces them to rethink their approach. Over time, they may realize that their accusations hold no weight, or they may simply run out of steam. In either case, your silence leaves a lasting impression. This approach is equally effective in personal relationships. Imagine a family member trying to provoke you during a holiday gathering. By refusing to engage, you take control of the interaction, showing that you won't be pulled into unnecessary drama. Silence in these moments is not a sign of weakness. It's a demonstration of emotional intelligence and self-restraint. Number 6, it triggers the psychology of loss. Humans have a deep-seated fear of losing something valuable, whether it's a relationship, approval, or attention. This fear, known as loss aversion, is a key principle in psychology. When you withdraw your attention from someone, they experience a sense of loss. This triggers their natural instinct to regain what they've lost, often by reevaluating their behavior or actions. For example, think about a time when someone suddenly stopped texting or calling you. Didn't you feel compelled to figure out why? You may have even gone out of your way to reach out to them. This is the psychology of loss in action. When you ignore someone who takes your attention for granted, you make them realize its value. Over time, they may start treating you with more care and appreciation. This principle is especially effective in situations where someone has wronged you or taken advantage of your kindness. By stepping back and withdrawing your attention, you allow them to feel the impact of your absence. It's not about being manipulative, it's about showing them that your presence is a privilege, not a given. Number 7, it forces respect. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn by setting boundaries and standing by them. When you ignore disrespectful behavior, you send a clear message: I won't tolerate this. This can be far more effective than arguing or retaliating, which often only escalates the situation. For instance, imagine a colleague who constantly interrupts you during meetings. Instead of reacting with frustration or trying to talk over them, you choose to remain silent and let their actions speak for themselves. Over time, your composed silence forces them and others in the room to recognize their rudeness. By not engaging, you command respect without uttering a word. Another example is in personal relationships. Suppose a friend frequently cancels plans at the last minute. Instead of confronting them angrily, you start ignoring their invites. This nonverbal cue communicates that you value your time and won't allow it to be wasted. Eventually, they may adjust their behavior out of respect for your boundaries. Number 8, ignoring creates scarcity. Scarcity is one of the most powerful motivators in human behavior. When something is scarce, it becomes more valuable. The same applies to your attention. If you're always available to everyone, people may start taking you for granted. But when you become selective with your time and energy, others begin to see your worth. Think of this in terms of relationships. If you're constantly texting someone back within seconds, they might assume you're always available. However, if you occasionally delay your response or don't reply at all, it introduces an element of scarcity. They start to appreciate the moments when you do engage because they know your attention isn't guaranteed. This principle is equally effective in professional environments. If you're the go-to person for solving problems, people may start to rely on you too much, often without acknowledgement. By stepping back and ignoring certain requests, you make it clear that your time is not unlimited. This encourages others to respect and value your contributions. Number 9, it destroys ego. Games toxic people often thrive on control and validation. They play ego-driven games to provoke reactions, whether it's through manipulation, insults, or power plays. Ignoring these attempts takes away their fuel, effectively dismantling their strategy. For example, I once dealt with a manipulative coworker who would make passive-aggressive comments during meetings. Instead of reacting defensively, I chose to ignore their remarks entirely. Over time, they stopped trying to provoke me because my lack of response made their attempts futile. By ignoring them, I dismantled their ego game without engaging in it. This approach works in personal situations as well. Suppose a family member habitually criticizes you to feel superior. Engaging with their negativity only feeds their ego. Ignoring them, however, leaves them powerless. They may eventually stop their behavior, realizing that it no longer has the desired effect. Number 10. Ignoring strengthens your self-control. Reacting impulsively to provocations is easy, but it often leads to regret. Ignoring someone, especially when your emotions are running high, requires immense self-discipline. Every time you choose not to react, you strengthen your ability to control your emotions and actions. Imagine a heated argument where someone accuses you unfairly. Your natural instinct might be to defend yourself or retaliate. However, by ignoring their accusations, you demonstrate self-control. This not only protects your mental peace, but also shows others that you won't be easily provoked. Practicing this skill regularly can transform your interactions. Over time, you'll notice that situations that once triggered you no longer have the same power. This newfound discipline can extend to other areas of your life, from resisting temptations to making more thoughtful decisions. Number 11, it allows you to focus on what matters. Life is full of distractions. Petty arguments, toxic people, and unnecessary drama can consume your time and energy if you let them. Ignoring these distractions clears the clutter from your life, allowing you to focus on your goals, passions, and relationships that truly matter. For example, if you're pursuing a personal goal, such as starting a business or learning a new skill, engaging with negativity can derail your progress. By ignoring critics and doubters, you free up mental space to concentrate on what's important. This focus can be the difference between success and stagnation. In relationships, ignoring petty conflicts can strengthen your connections. Instead of getting caught up in minor disagreements, you can focus on the bigger picture, building trust, love, and mutual respect. This doesn't mean avoiding all conflicts, but rather choosing which battles are worth your energy. Mastering the dark psychology of ignoring isn't about being cold-hearted. It's about being smart. You're choosing where your energy goes. Every time you ignore what doesn't serve you, you're taking one step closer to a life of control, respect, and power. Remember, not everyone is ready to harness this kind of power. Most people will stay stuck, reacting to everything around them. But not you. You're here because you're ready to change. If this resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know which strategy you're going to try first in the comments. Let's take this journey together, you and I. And always remember, your silence is your strength.